What happens when a humble farm boy dares to believe that miracles are real? When a young man with no fame, no fortune, and barely enough education decides to take God at His word and preaches to millions across the world. This is the remarkable story of TLOsborn, a man whose voice thundered across stadiums, whose simple message changed countless lives, and whose legacy still echoes decades after he left the stage. If you've never heard of him, get ready, because this isn't just a story about miracles. It's a story about obedience, purpose, and the power of one life surrendered to God. Tommy Lee Osborn was born in 1923 in the rolling hills of Oklahoma, the seventh of 13 children in a modest farming family. They didn't have much, but what they did have was faith. At 13, young Tommy heard the voice of God calling him to preach, not just to one town or one church, but to the world. He had no idea what that would mean, but he said yes. At 15, he dropped out of school and joined a traveling gospel group, spreading the message of Jesus with nothing but a piano and a raw passion. He met a girl named Daisy, smart, strong, full of fire. They married when he was just 17, and together they dreamt of reaching nations. By 1945, TL and Daisy set off to India as missionaries, but it didn't go like they expected. No crowds, no miracles, no fruit. They preached, but the people weren't moved. They argued, they debated, but TL realized something painful. He couldn't prove Jesus was alive. One day, after a long, frustrating sermon, a Hindu man came up and said, "If your Jesus is alive, why can't he do the miracles he did in the Bible?" That question haunted TL. They returned to the US, discouraged, heartbroken, and full of questions. Back home, TL was desperate, so he started seeking God with everything he had. Then in 1947, he attended a revival service led by a fiery young preacher, William Branham, and what he saw changed his life. The blind were seeing, the deaf were hearing, people were being healed before his eyes. TL fell to his knees and prayed one prayer: "Lord, if you will do that for me, I will go to the nations again, and I will never look back." And God did. From that moment, everything changed. Armed with a new understanding of faith and healing, TL and Daisy returned to the nations.
Famous city of Hyderabad, India. There's no nation more religious and more God-conscious than India. Very young, and while we met with seeming total failure as young missionaries, it was India that taught us the most valuable lesson of our lives. We realized in India that if Christianity does not have the miraculous, it's nothing more than just another dead religion. We went home from India broken-hearted, but Jesus appeared to us, and we learned about the miraculous power of the risen Lord and of His gospel. We learned that He's alive today to do the same things that He did before they killed Him. That changed our lives, and since that time, we've proclaimed the living Christ to the masses of 73 different nations of the world. This Hyderabad crusade is the third great mass miracle campaign we've conducted in wonderful India since we discovered the secret of the miraculous.
But this time, it was different. They didn't argue theology. They preached Jesus, alive, real, and powerful, and the miracles followed. Crutches were thrown away. Tumors disappeared. Blind eyes opened. In open fields and dusty stadiums, thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands gathered. From Africa to Asia to Latin America, the Osborns became household names, not because of theatrics, but because they brought hope, healing, and a Jesus people who see for themselves. TL wasn't a flashy preacher. He didn't shout. He didn't beg. He spoke with kindness, clarity, compassion, and he always kept it simple. God is good. Jesus is alive, and he wants to heal you. That was the core of his message, and it worked. He wrote books like Healing the Sick, which sold millions worldwide and became a staple for young evangelists. But more than that, TL empowered local leaders. He didn't just preach and leave. He trained, he equipped, he raised up pastors so the work could continue long after he was gone. TL and Daisy spent over 5 decades preaching the gospel across 90 nations. They never asked for money. They never sought fame. They just loved people. And that love transformed lives. Entire villages were healed. Cities were turned upside down. Religions were challenged, not with debate, but with compassion. When Daisy passed in 1995, it was like losing half a heartbeat. But TL kept preaching, kept loving, kept pointing people to Jesus. He once said, "Don't just tell people about the power of God, demonstrate it." And that's what he did until his final breath in 2013. TLOsborn wasn't a celebrity, he was a servant. He didn't build an empire, he built people. And today, his message still echoes in sermons, crusades, and hearts around the world. He proved that faith isn't just for the educated, the rich, or the religious. It's for everyone. So the next time you wonder if your life matters, remember the farm boy from Oklahoma who simply said yes to God and changed the world. If this story inspires you, like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories of faith. We would love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below. Like this video if this story moved you, and don't forget to subscribe to Beyond the Name, where faith meets history and every name has a story.